Hello, once again tumerudi hapa to address one or two issues yenye watu wamekuwa wakiongelelea. People have been raising issues kwa wakiuliza maswali moja mbili, and tunajaribu kudissect the issues, tujaribu kuona kama how we will move forward. So like people have been asking, is Kenya going to the dogs, or it has already arrived at the dog chambers? Kenya ishachukuliwa na umbwa ama bado? Those are the issues which we have been looking forward to address. Tujaribu to look for solutions. Tunajaribu kuangalia venye tutasaidiana tukiwa pamoja na vitu kama hizo. I strongly believe that this country has not yet slided to the mud, but bado iko on the track and it can be salvaged in one way or another. So those people who have been raising that issue, Kenya has gone to the dogs, I don't think so. It has not yet reached at that point where we can conclude that this country is no longer tenable. It can't be helped at all. Ishaenda. I still believe that we are on the right trajectory as a country, and Kenya still looks with it has still the potential to improve. Inaweza saidika ifanyike vizuri kuliko venye inafanyika sahi, and people can come together objectively to help this country na inaweza saidika. Another person was asking about whether we are judging the president so harshly. I think yes. In my own opinion, I can say that we are really judging the president much more harshly than we are supposed to do. Yes, like ukiangalia vizuri, like our president is working in an environment yenye ni inakaa tricky kidogo. Like anybody can really struggle to sail in it. For instance, ali inherit a country yenye iko at a critical stage whereby it is so hard to run it until you make very hard decisions. For instance, when he inherited a country from the former president, petrol was retailing at around 200 and around 60, with a 26 billion monthly subsidy. And you know, petrol is the main energy, the main engine which runs the country. Like the moment you touch that product, it's like it affects so many sectors of production and consumption. So he had to make quick decisions, sometimes hard decisions, in order to try to put things together and to try in his best, in the best way he knows, to try and steer the country forward. So sometimes I can say that we Kenyans, sometimes we judge him more harshly than we are supposed to do. I think Kenyans this energy we are putting to castigate whatever he's doing, we can put the energy together and maybe assist him to run the country even much more better than he is doing. Because if he succeeds, Kenya succeeds. I don't see a need whereby we can wish him fail. Because if he fails, it is Kenya which has failed. It is us Kenyans who will fail. So I think, in my own opinion, whoever asked that question, we are judging him quite more harshly than we are supposed to do, because he's trying his best to do whatever he's doing, which is not, we can't say he's doing it the best way he's supposed to do it, but he's doing it the best way he knows. Remember, we said we are doing all these, we are recording all these videos, not for anything, but we want to be heard, and we just want to be on record, so that when the history of Kenya will be written on how the country failed, we will have a chapter or two. Or when the history of Kenya will be written on how the country was salvaged, the country was brought back to on the train, we will be on record. So we also want to see the role of the media in the development or failure of a country. Therefore, the state has three fundamental roles or core values, or the three principles on which they operate. For instance, the work of the media is to inform the public and the citizenry of a nation on what is going on, and so that they can be aware, to create awareness. That is information, and that is majorly done by the media. Another role of the media is to educate the people, the masses, because the mainstream media, maybe through the TV, through the radio, they sensitize the people on what's going on and why it is done the way it is done. So media is supposed to educate the people on what is going on and why it is going on like that. Another thing about media is to entertain. Media major is for entertainment and to entertain the people. But so that one shows that media has a very fundamental role in development or failure of a country. For instance, in our country, Kenya, media has turned to try to play partisan politics. Media or mass communication can reach and pass information to very many people within a very short time. They can also change dynamics of a country through the kind of information which they give to the public. So when media starts playing partisan politics, the country can easily slide, because misinformation is one of the things which has made so many states, not only in Africa but even outside Africa, to fail. So media should educate. When they see something, they should educate, they should find out, investigate and find out why it is done the way it's done, and they should educate the public. So media plays a very big role in the formation of a nation or destruction of a country. So for instance, the other time I was listening to some show in one of the media local stations, and I heard one of the panelists, who is a media personality or a media person, saying that whatever the CDF, the other time when the CDF, the Chief of Defense Forces, and the Director of NIS, National Intelligence Service, when they addressed the public during a lecture, she was very much against about what they said, and it's like she was trying to play politics on very serious matters of national security. For instance, there is this thing politicians have been doing, whereby they have been misusing and misinterpreting the first article of our Constitution, Article 1, where it says that the sovereign power belongs to the people of Kenya and shall only be exercised in accordance with the Constitution. So most politicians say, like they read that article halfway. They just say the sovereign power belongs to the people. So like that's the kind of information these people put outside there to the people. So people know, because most of the people don't go and find the information or read the exact wordings in the Constitution. So they just take it like that. The constitution says that power belongs to the people. Until the colleague came and he led to her the exact wording of the constitution, saying that the second part of that article says that power, that sovereign power, which belongs to the people of Kenya, must be exercised only in accordance with the constitution. So when the Chief of Defense Forces says that all these things you are doing, yes, it's right, but can you maybe do it constitutionally? Because even though you lament from morning to evening singing Ruto must go, until you use the constitutional means, he can't go. Constitutional means like one way of removing Ruto or making sure Ruto has gone is through impeachment. You can initiate an impeachment through your representative in parliament. Maybe you can petition your MP or your whoever, the women rep, to start an impeachment motion against the president, where maybe it will result at the president going home if the allegations are well substantiated. So where you find the media misleading the people that those chants are okay, you can chant, you have the right to do that, I think it is very misleading and it's very unhealthy to this country, because that one can't result in anything. It will only result in chaos, bad image of the country and all that. So that said, the media should just wake up and stop these shenanigans they are doing, misinformation and the partisan politics, because it's not healthy to the country and maybe it will result in something bad. And all those weeping emotions and all those things, they don't help, because that's the same thing they did when they encouraged the young generation, the Gen Zs, to go on rampage, fight the finance bill. People died and nothing happened. Those things are not sustainable. They don't help the country. And you know, it's only media which can help really this country to grow and move forward in the right direction, because of the kind of information they are giving the people. They should not incite and they should not play partisan politics, because at the end of the day, whoever is the president, we need this country working and moving forward as a unit. Another thing I wanted to address is this issue. Somebody asked me about whether the youth or the young generation is giving an alternative way in which we can help develop this country. Like, are they giving an alternative way in which this country should be like ruled or governed in the best interest of the Kenyans and prosperity of our nation? Maybe I can give an illustration. The other time I was listening to a group of young people. I was listening to a group of young people who were protesting the sentiments made by the CDF and the NIS director, Noordin Haji, whereby I listened to one lady who said that she was a graduate, a university graduate who had first class and blah blah. She also went ahead to encourage people, even those who have talents, to sing, to produce songs about Ruto must go, and chanting Ruto must go. And she said that she can mobilize people to support. They can even support the production of those songs so that they can be aired. So my attention was captured by that thing. She said that she was a first class honors graduate from some university. I don't know the course or the profession she had pursued. So I was like, yes, you said you can support people to chant Ruto must go. Then what? Okay, he has gone. Then has that given you a job? You know, I really wonder whether you got that first class on merit. You can't come out and say that go ahead and chant. You know the problems of this country. I've been saying it and I can repeat it here, that the problem this country is facing is not William Ruto. You can remove Ruto from office today, but I can bet nothing much that can change by whoever that is put in place. I expected her to be, because she's such a brilliant mind, because she alleged to have gotten a first class honors. So I expected her to like know the problems of this country is not the president, because you can remove him today, bring somebody else. Hiyo haitakuwa imebadilisha kitu yoyote. Kenya itabaki vile vile venye iko until you address the question of the economy. The problem of this country is the economy, and that problem has been compiled. Ni kitu imekuwa ikipile since probably 2000 to this point, because I can give you an example that you find that we are not developing the country. The government is sponsoring students in universities, colleges, and all those places, but it is not putting structures on how these people will be consumed to the job market and make use of their skills which they have acquired from their learning institutions. So like you find in our budget, they put a budget, a very big budget, which needs huge funds to fund it, ending up suppressing the businesses, suppressing those who are working, because in most cases, or majorly, these countries, the taxes are from the working class, the civil servants and the business people. They are the people who are running this country. So you find that you suppress them by taxation and you don't give them back. Like there are no services they enjoy in return of the money they give. That's why you find we have a very big budget for current and consumption than development. And the small one which have been allocated to development, you find they go and build roads, nothing substantial, which can in turn absorb people and give them an environment where they can make a living. So generally, the youth are not giving a better alternative on how they can develop this country, because I don't know, but in most cases, when you listen to most of them, they think that once Ruto has gone, the problems of Kenya has gone. But that is not correct. It's not correct because the constitution we have is a bad one. It created devolution. That's the biggest problem I have with this constitution, whereby it created devolution, and people still praise devolution, saying that devolution is the best thing that ever happened to this country. But in my honest opinion, devolution never worked the way it was envisaged by those people who came up or who wrote the constitution and decided to put devolution in that. So it never worked. The main issue, the main reason devolution was put in place was to bring services closer to the people. But you find they just brought corruption closer to the people. They brought goonism close to the people, misuse of funds, misappropriation of resources close to the people. But in the real sense, you find the services which are supposed to be brought close to the people, they were never brought close to the people. So like the whole idea of devolution, maybe it was a nice idea in the beginning, but maybe the implementation failed and that project never worked. Another problem is like in Kenya, that's where you have politicians who say that they are listening to the ground. Maybe at the face of it, you can see like it's a nice thing to do when you are leading the people, you listen to the ground. But the ground is never right because the ground has divergent opinions whereby you find people express themselves differently. So who are you going to listen to? You know, those are lies that the politicians they have repeated for a long time until they sound like it is something correct, it's something true. That I'm listening to the ground, I'm listening to the people. You can't listen to the people. The legislature mostly is composed of people who are representatives of the people. First, when you are a representative of the people, you should know your people what they deserve to have, what should happen, and how it should happen. So you can't say that you are listening to the people. Listening to the people on what? Because people have divergent opinions. There are those who support an agenda. There are those who totally don't support it. So whose opinion are you taking? That's a lie which politicians have really pushed for a long time, and it starts sounding like it's a nice thing to do. But those are failed so-called leaders who says that they are listening to the people, they are listening to the ground. You can't listen to the ground. Go there and address their problems. Your work from morning to evening, you should find out what the problems your people are facing and look for solutions to mitigate them. Not going to listen to them. You don't lead the people from the back. Lead them from the front. It's you to decide on the route which you are taking your people for their best interests. Sometimes they may not agree. For instance, I can give you an example whereby maybe you want to build a road in some village. People will not buy the idea whereby they are going to donate some land, or they are going, like the road is going to cut across their lands. But it's the best thing to do to your people because you want to make that place to be accessible. So are you going to listen to them? So this happens to be a lie which people have pushed for so long until it looks like it's the right thing to do, it sounds nice and all that. So those are politicians who have failed. So if the youth or the young generation who happens to be the majority in this country, if they want to address the problems of this country and they want to change this country to the better, to better their tomorrow, they must start telling themselves the truth. That's the first thing they should do. Second, they should look at the constitution, amend it, change it, write a new one, because the current constitution has proven not to be working for anybody. It is the same constitution which has created all these things. Corruption happens because the constitution is not tightened enough to curb corruption. The same constitution has provided a platform in which, like, you can't run this country without borrowing money. People may not see this, but the biggest problem of this country is borrowing, because you find we have a very big budget whereby, like, I think in the year 2028, 2029 there, we will have to pay in one financial year, we are paying around 2.4 trillion. You have a budget whereby you are paying 2.4 trillion. You can't have money for development. That's why you see, like in the current regime, the president is trying to look for a PPP to partner with for development, because they don't have a development budget. And those are some of the things which are making it very hard to develop or to address the problems of this country. Because if at all you will be able to address the question of the economy, whereby people can earn a living, people are busy, are making themselves busy doing something constructive with their lives, politics will be addressed automatically, because idleness, people are idle, people are poor, people don't have money. Those are some of the problems which like propagate all these problems which we face in a country like Kenya, because soon the country will be overrun by unemployment. Unemployment is going very high because the government is not maybe, like, if we can give them a benefit of doubt, like doesn't have a development budget good enough to start production or processing or value addition, or like something constructive which can maybe absorb the very many people who are unemployed in this country. So the youth should relook at this constitution, which is so, in my own opinion, is so much overrated. So all these things should be looked at afresh as we look forward, as we move forward towards a better Kenya, because we can cry, we can lament, we can make noise all we want, but at the end of the day, the problems will be there, and they will be looking for, like, they will be in demand of some solutions, and the solutions must come from the citizenry, Kenyans themselves. So remember to like, subscribe, and share our videos.